My name is Olanipekun. I'm 28 years old. I am a research associate and I've been at HTB for I think over 15 years.
I'm Samson Olanipekun. I work for civil service and I've been in HTB over 15 years. You know what, Michael? I told you we are from Nigeria heritage, and coming to this country as a young guy, it takes a lot out of me to be here today. And telling you this, we move on to HTB, like roughly 17 years to be precise. And you were just about 11 years old then. Yeah. That's when we're moving. And we've seen a lot through, and we see a lot of changes. And that's all about how you know, and I've been telling you this all the time about our heritage, how beautiful the heritage is, and what God has been doing to help us, especially in this country, to go through every hurdles and trouble during the time we are here.
Yeah. And that's good because, I think you and Mum raised us, so all of us kids, to remember our heritage, to know where we're from. We're familiar with the culture, the food, the music, everything. And growing up, being born and raised here in London, it can be a bit of a difficulty to merge the two cultures together or to accept your culture. But yeah, you guys raised us in a way to remember where we're from and to kind of embrace that rich history.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm really proud of you. That's why, because I keep saying to you, remember where you are from. Remember your color. Nothing can stop you achieving your goal. Despite you might say, oh, my color. No, set your mind, and that's where you are today. I think you were able to do this because we are Christian, and that's what God is doing, the love of God, you see. So tell me about your experience when you were doing your PhD.
Yeah, so for me, I guess being in like a work environment, it's one of those areas where I see myself and I am the minority. I was one of maybe 2 black men in the whole division that I was part of. And so for me, it was difficult at times to be in that space, but then also trying to work hard and do well in that space, just thinking of how others would perceive me. But one thing that's always been helpful for me is my faith and remembering that God is the highest authority in my life.
That's
so even
correct.
if I'm treated a certain way by other people or even like my boss at the time, whatever it is, it's knowing that God has the ultimate authority and seeing how God sees me. And that is my identity ahead of anything else, basically.
That's great.
So that helped me through my studies, helped me through work, everything. And that's how I'm now trying to also help others who are coming up into these spaces that look like me, that have the same skin tone as me, that haven't had the greatest opportunities because of the way that they look.
Yes,
and so it's helping out with outreach to get young people into science, or even whether it's part of the youth team, whatever it looks like, is trying to show young people that even though you may not see other people that are in this space, I'm now there, and I can try and lead the way and open doors that they otherwise wouldn't have opened.
You know, I always say to you about love going back to Nigeria, going there on holidays. Do you ever ask me why?
No.
Yeah, because Nigeria is lovely. I told you, the food. We have rich food in Nigeria, better food than what we eat here.
What would you say is your favorite?
Oh, you know it is. Jollof rice and dodo, fried plantain.
Yep.
It's lovely. How about you?
Mine is the same, basically. I like that, and I am actually.
Oh,
as well.
right, yeah.
That one is good. That's a nice stew that you just put with rice, and any time is good. But it can be too spicy sometimes for me.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah. Tell me about, because you keep asking me, Daddy, you will like to come to Nigeria. Tell me what's the driving force behind this request.
For me, it's just to know more about our history as a family. Like, you know, the other day even looking into where specifically we're from, that specific town, that village, like everything. I want to know in detail where we've come from and what our history is like. I feel like it's something that we don't often get the opportunity to explore as much as maybe people in this country do, where they have a rich history, they grew up in a certain town, and they can trace back their lineage a long way. But for us, it's not as easily accessible. I think we could go there, we could talk to the right people, and you could find records, but it's not like here where you have certain websites where you can trace your whole lineage.
That's right.
So that's why I'd like to go.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I said to you I was putting up my family trees, and then we're doing it together, isn't it? So, yeah, we'll be, by God's grace, we will visit Nigeria very soon. And as I said to you, one good thing about being a Nigerian is the love of God, because the way we grew up in Christian way, the way our parents takes us to church, is kind of different. We pray very hard. You know, that's the only thing that sustains us here, the prayer, because we've been praying right from childhood. Yeah, and there are a lot of stuff back in Nigeria as well. And even here, you see, when we had a party, you see, lovely party.
Yeah, it's so colorful.
Colorful, yes.
Yeah, the things that people are wearing, the food that we're eating, the music, everything. It's so lively.
Yeah. So tell me more about your interest.
For me, I mean, I always see things about it, like in terms of how young people are enjoying living or visiting Nigeria. And it's something that, the last time I visited, I was only 9 years old. So I don't really remember anything of it. I don't remember even eating the food there necessarily. I do remember going to the beach, to Lekki Beach, and seeing, riding horses.
Lovely beach.
And it's beautiful. But it's something since I've not been able to experience. So yeah, I'd love to experience that again. So I think I would identify as being both Black British and Nigerian, because I've grown up with Nigerian culture. I know a bit of the language. I know the food well, I know the music. Everything about me is Nigerian, but also growing up in this country, I'm British. And so one thing that I found that with my faith, as I've learned to progress and grow in faith, especially within HTB, is how God sees me and how that can be different to how the world will see me sometimes.
That's right.
Especially within HTB, we've seen so much change over these 18 years, you say?
17.
17 years.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of change. There's been completely like an influx of people from all nations, essentially. And it goes to show what Jesus is saying, is what he lived, where he didn't really align himself with those who oppress or necessarily the majority, but he aligned himself with those who were on the fringes, those who were being oppressed, those who were thought of as less than. And so having Jesus align himself with what we could, even in our language now, identify as like blackness, it makes me feel like Jesus is for me. He's for everybody. And that no one can really tell you otherwise. And I'm just happy to be a part of a community where that is embraced and where that's celebrated. How would you describe it being
because
older?
Before we joined the HTB, we been to many other African churches, as you know. And when we discovered HTB, we joined them. One thing that strikes us was, this is pure white church. We don't know how we're going to fit in. But a couple of weeks later, we see the love the community show us, and it's just about maybe few blacks then, I mean, of my type. But we keep going, and the children said to the love you guys got, you and your siblings, was great. And then we started enjoying HTB. And here we are now, almost 18 years. And now, since for the past 15 years, I've been helping the community on Sundays. We join homeless, and all sorts of things I've been doing for HTB. And in that strengthened my faith, and seeing my children, you and your siblings, growing well to know God. So that kind of give us joy, and we keep enjoying HTB. And you know, through us, many people has come to the church. You know them, all other communities, because we keep telling them, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And then it's a lovely community, and for that, the community is growing and growing and growing. And even I remember when we used to come to 9:30, it's quite few people, but now 9:30 is almost as equal as the 11:30 service. So we give thanks to God for all He's been doing.